Am I the a-hole for refusing to pay my friend after my ferret attacked her $900 dress? So I 29F have a pet ferret, Noodles. He's super friendly and curious, and I let him free roam when I'm home. My friend Kara 28F, fake name, came over last weekend for wine night with a few of our other friends. She showed up wearing this very extra silk dress, said she had a date after and didn't have time to change. I told her maybe not the best outfit for a casual girls' night, but whatever. Well, at one point she gets up to go to the kitchen and Noodles, being the menace he is, bolts toward her and jumps up. His little claws snag the back of her dress and it tears maybe a half slit. She screams, freaks out, and runs into the bathroom sobbing. The whole vibe died instantly. I felt bad, but also like, you wore a $900 dress to drink boxed wine on my carpet with a literal ferret present? Anyway, she sends me a Venmo request later that night for $920. Apparently the dress is from some vintage designer and the repair requires specialist fabric sourcing. I declined the request. She sent it again. I declined again. Now she's telling everyone I'm irresponsible and letting my rodent ruin people's things. She even told our group chat that I let Noodles drink wine. He just sniffed the glass one time. My other friends are split. Some say I should pay at least something. Others say Kara's being dramatic. Then today, her lawyer dad sent me a letter saying I'm liable for damages. I literally laughed out loud. Like, what judge is gonna look at me and say, yes, pay $900 because your ferret got excited about silk? So, am I the a-hole or is this entire thing completely unhinged? Top comments. Info. Did she know that Noodles was a free roaming ferret before she came over? I. Has she been over before and seen him free roaming? OP replies, yes. We've been friends for a decade now. She's met Noodles several times and knows the vibe. It wasn't a surprise that Noodles was free roaming. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my mom I'll never forgive her if she F up my adoption? I've 14F been living with my aunt, my mom's sister, since I was 8. It was originally because of an issue with her ex-boyfriend, and CPS placed me with my aunt. Then she used to say she couldn't handle 4 kids as a single mom, so I had to stay with my aunt. Then we just didn't talk for a few years. My aunt has been trying to adopt me for years. We're finally able to try to get my mom's parental rights terminated because she didn't speak to any of us or send money or anything for 4 years. I really like living with my aunt. On Tuesdays, we go out to eat. She says we take turns choosing the restaurant, but I get to choose almost every week. On Fridays, we order pizza and watch a movie and eat ice cream in our pajamas on the couch. When I started middle school, she started taking me to get my nails done with her, so now we do that every other Saturday, and at least once a month, sometimes more during summers or school breaks, we get to visit her condo in the mountains. There's a little beach, and the past couple years, she's been letting me hang out with my friends or alone by the beach or downtown or at the pool or wherever, as long as I keep my location on my phone, and I'm home by the time it gets dark. After my mom got notice that her rights were going to be terminated, she got in contact with my aunt and started emailing my old email address saying she misses me and she wants to see me. She sent me pictures of her new family, and she's sending my aunt money so she can say she's a part of my life and she's taking care of me. My aunt told me not to contact my mom yet and to let her take care of everything. I listened for a while, then my mom sent me a picture of a bed at her house with a bunch of shopping bags on it, and she said that's my bed, and she has presents for me, and she can't wait for me to come home. I emailed her back and told her that I don't want to live with her. I haven't seen her or talked to her for 4 years, and I don't even know who half the people in the pictures she sent me are. I also said that I really love living here, and that if she F up my adoption, I'll never forgive her, and I'll never speak to her after I turn 18. My mom called my aunt crying about what I said, and my aunt got mad at me because she told me not to contact my mom. Now I'm wondering if I was the a-hole for contacting my mom when I wasn't supposed to and being rude to her. Top comments. You are the a-hole, but softly. Your aunt told you not to talk to your mom not because the thing she's saying is correct, but because she doesn't want you to mess up the adoption process. You're a kid, you don't know what you're saying, and it's really easy to accidentally say something that messes it IP legally, especially since it's over text. Every single little thing that's communicated is going to be heavily scrutinized by your mother's legal team. More than that, if you talk to her, Your mother is going to get super defensive and try harder to block this from happening. If you trust your aunt, Ferret and listen to her. You're not a bad person, but you're not the one who is supposed to be in charge of what to do right now. Please let her get you all through it. Next story. Am I the a-hole for yelling at my aunt after she kept pressuring me to marry her son? I'm 24F from Pakistan. Here cousin marriages are common, and my aunt keeps pressuring me to marry her son 25M since I was a teen. This started in my teen years. My aunt would start making jokes, such as, "You'd make a good daughter-in-law," or "You and her son's name would make a good couple," etc. I used to brush it off back then, ignore it and such, hoping it would stop, but they never did. Instead, it started being more common. She started doing it every time we met, and I've shut her down politely every time, saying I'm not interested and it won't ever happen. My mom knew how much it bothered me. She didn't want to disrespect her elders, so she kept quiet and only spoke about it in private when my aunt messaged her. My mom told me to keep quiet and ignore because she won't let it happen. This was very uncomfortable. This whole thing gave my cousin some wrong ideas because he started messaging me in private saying things like, "We're getting married in the future, so why aren't you talking to me now?" I just ghost him and ignore his messages. Just a few years ago, I lost my temper at a family gathering after my aunt said, "You're all grown up now. When are you going to marry him? Our decision is final." The strong feeling of ick and cringe just made me lash out. I yelled at my aunt, calling her stupid for not listening to me and not understanding what no means. I used mild swear words as well, and it was a whole heated argument. To end the argument, my brother had to physically carry me out of the house, where I had a breakdown, and we all just left our house. My mom was hurt by this a lot, and I could feel the pain in her voice whenever we spoke about this. She said she just wishes I handled it differently. After this came a series of unwanted toxicity and drama. My aunt yelled at my mom, making her look like a terrible person for letting that happen and cut off all ties. She influenced mom's oldest sister and brother to do the same. My cousin got married to someone else, and we found out about it through someone else. He got married and divorced just later that year, and somehow my aunt managed to partially blame me and mom for that divorce, even though we played no part in it. My mom deals with her siblings often, and sometimes they drag her into dramas. I've seen her cry in her room alone because of this, and it makes me feel bad. I feel like I should have done better or done things differently for the sake of my mom. All this toxicity and drama would have been avoided if I did things different. Top comments. Not the a-hole at all. Your aunt has some weird delusion that after you say no 100 times, you are still going to marry him. You are your own person and deserve respect. No should be telling anyone who to marry. Heck, you don't have to marry at all if you don't want to. OP replies, she is very delusional. Next story. Am I the a-hole for yelling at a 19-year-old and asking for him to be fired? Throwaway account. I 37M and my husband 39M have been together 11 years. My husband owns a small bookshop and recently has hired a boy to help him. This lad, I'll call him Joe, is gay, and while me and my husband very obviously have no issue with this, Joe seems to do things a lot differently to us. For context, both me and my husband are Irish immigrants to London. We grew up 20 minutes away from each other and went to the same, very Catholic school. We aren't exactly flamboyant or outwardly gay, and don't exactly do PDA since that's how we were raised. On my lunch break from work, I like to visit my husband, bringing him records I think he might like and his coffee. Recently, however, Joe has started making comments. It started small with him saying things about queer joy and how he loves gay couples, which we didn't mind at all. In all fairness, it's a fairly scary world for queer people right now, and I understand seeing a happy married gay couple means a lot for a kid. But then he started getting a little too comfortable for my liking. He started asking things like, "Who's the top?" and calling us the F slur jokingly. I think it's entirely inappropriate to be making those comments to his boss, but my husband told me to let it go. Joe calls us the F slur a lot, which I had brought up a few times, telling him calmly to not do that. But when he continued, I learned to let go despite my distaste for it, since it didn't seem to bother my husband too much. But last Wednesday, I lost it. I was up by the counter when Joe came in. He immediately started blathering on about how if why we are, and while my husband chuckled awkwardly, I did not. Joe noticed this and said I was a stick in the mud and repressed. I was trying to keep my cool until he called me a Fenian FT and I lost it. For anyone who doesn't know, the term Fenian isn't exactly a slur or anything, but it isn't exactly nice either. Me and my husband jokingly call each other Fenians or Paddies from time to time if we've something particularly Irish, and I've never exactly viewed as a very offensive word to me, but something about this English boy made me snap. I asked him if he thought that was an appropriate thing to say to his boss's partner and started shouting, telling him he's way out of play, and if he wants to keep his job, he should buck up. I left to cool down a bit, and 30 minutes later got a call from my husband berating me, saying that Joe was crying and that he's just a kid. I do feel really bad since he's only young, but I still think he needed to be knocked down a step or two. Am I the a-hole? Edit. I see a lot of people making comments about the nature of the relationship between Joe and my husband. My husband has asked Joe to stop on my behalf before, but this isn't something that really bothers my husband, and to be fair, it's his workplace, not mine. Update. Joe is my husband's son. I won't go too much into the details for both my and their privacy, but I had a major fight with my husband about why he was being so lenient with him and why we didn't have my back in this. We were shouting back and forth until he shouted something about blood being thicker than water. I shout back about him being just some boy, and he stopped suddenly. Then he told me Joe is from an ex-girlfriend of his who's now unable to take care of him, so my husband picked up. He's been paying child support for years. We each have our separate bank accounts, so I didn't even notice. I'm contemplating separation and divorce. Someone I've known for 25 years became a stranger in 10 seconds. I physically got sick thinking back on those sexual remarks that he made to his father. My husband always went white as a ghost when he said those kinds of things, and that was possibly the only thing he actually gave out to him for, but it makes me feel sick all the same. Sorry, I won't be responding to comments. I need to get my head right personally. Top comments. Not the a-hole. The kid is 19 and is old enough to know that saying harmful remarks in front of, let alone to address your boss, is not the way to go. Should you have yelled? Maybe not, but I can't say I would have done any better in your position. Honestly, apologize to your husband for the scene you caused. Mention that as long as the kid works there, you won't be going to the bookshop for favors or otherwise, as he makes you uncomfortable. And after today, you're sure the kid would be uncomfortable as well. Let him know if you're willing to offer the kid an apology. I wouldn't, but maybe you're a bigger person than I am. And let him know that you don't want one from the kid, as you find his behavior and language appealing and don't want anything from him. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to be my sister's bridesmaid because she chose ugly friends to make herself look better? My sister 27F is getting married and asked me 24F to be one of her bridesmaids. I was excited until I found out who the rest of the bridal party was. Every single one of them is someone she's either not that close to or has made fun of before for being awkward or not photogenic. Some of her actual best friends, the ones who she sees all the time, weren't even asked. It felt weird, so I asked her why she picked this group. She kind of laughed and said, "You'll understand when it's your wedding. You don't want people who'll outshine you in your own pictures." I just stared at her. I asked, "So you picked them because you think they'll make you look better?" She rolled her eyes and said, "It's not that deep. I just want to feel confident that day, and I'm allowed to be a little selfish for my wedding." That rubbed me the wrong way. I told her I didn't want to be part of a bridal party built on tearing other people down, even subtly, and that she should have picked people she actually cares about. Now she's calling me judgmental and sensitive, and our mom says I'm being too idealistic and should just support her. But I feel like going along with it makes me complicit. Am I the a-hole? Top comments. Not the a-hole. Some may disagree, but I don't do their family. So I must comply even with things I don't agree with because they're family / it's their day. They're saying you're being judgmental, but they're literally making a judgment that anyone else would be the center of attention, but the bride. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share, and subscribe the channel our posts.